Good evening, everybody. It's great to be here. We've had about 10 days of break since we officially finished our year
Speak
of
for yourself.
appointments. Speak for myself. Stuart's here with us. Hi, Stuart.
G'day, everyone.
And he's here also to add lots of value. So I'm Natasa Denman, and tonight we have got how to get bums on seats to your online and offline events. I love this topic. You guys know that I'm the ultimate 48-hour author, but in addition to authoring and really leveraging intellectual property, seminars, webinars, and retreats are really the thing that goes hand in hand. But before we get started into everything, let's get a few hellos and where you guys are from. Can you hear us? Can you see the PowerPoint presentation? And we've got a lot more people coming on the call as I'm introducing it. Hey, Adair, great to see you on the call tonight. Hi, Maureen. Great to see you as well. Just want to make sure, yes, I am recording this because a couple of people were going to miss out on the live version. I can see a lot of new faces. I guess I can put a face to most people's names, but I can see a few new names that have popped up on my screen. Hey, Dorothy from Adelaide, great to see you. You're one that I've never, I don't think I've met you. Hey, Karen as well. You can see, yep, you guys are just confirming that you can see my PowerPoint. Hey, Wes, great to see you as well on here. And Thomas and Julia. Julia, did you get the planner? I want to know if you got the planner. So make sure you let me know. Couple planners went astray. Hey, Jennifer, Devika, Karen. Yes, yay, good. All right. Well, then I just got to check in with one person that and I said all good here. Perfect, guys. All right, all the welcomes out the way. What I want to know, basically, well, actually, let me introduce myself first. First of all, for the benefit of those that have never been on my webinars, is that I started out in business just on about 5.5 years ago. And originally, my first business was Ultimate Weight Loss, lose the last 10 kilos. Well, it wasn't that. It was actually a brand that was a total flop called PRS Coaching. And as a result of having a meeting with a person at a networking event who said to me, hey, Nat, you should write a book that's really going to be your business card on steroids. I thought, well, that's a great idea. So I went out and did it and brought out my first book 13 months into my journey, which is the thing and the defining moment that changed everything. So writing that book, 7 Ultimate Secrets to Weight Loss, at the bottom of your screen, as well as then rebranding to Ultimate Weight Loss, lose the last 10 kilos, was what turned everything around. That very narrow niche that was very specific, and obviously positioning myself as a leader and as an expert. But more importantly, what that did is it boosted my confidence. So writing, I always say to people, it's not about writing the book, it's actually about the person that you become at the other end of writing the book, because you pick these boxes up of your face on the book and you look at it, and I would say to myself, oh my God, I'm so good, I've written a book. Like, that counts for something. And all of a sudden I had this newfound self-confidence and certainty in what I was saying, and really started seeing myself as the expert, as most people tend to ponder. It's like, how can I write a book? Am I really the expert? Those are some of the fears that we find in people that we work with. But it really does change the way you do things. And more importantly, what it also did, it gave me that confidence to start doing lots of events. And that is why we're also sitting here today. So aside from authoring, well, now 6 books, I've been a contributor of 2, and I have authored 4 of my own, and about to do the 7th one. And guess what? Of course, it's going to be titled Bums on Seats, and I'll be writing it with Francesca Moy. So that'll be a fun project to do coming up. But really, this is the launch of something additional to add value to my current clients, to my authors, but also to those people who purely want to focus on profiting from events. So running seminars, webinars, and retreats. That's my gorgeous family. Well, that was about a year ago. Zara, I gave birth to Zara a year ago. She just turned 1 a couple of weeks ago. And we've got Judd, who's 7, and Mika, who's 4.5, and obviously my gorgeous husband, who's right here next to me. And we've lived really a blessed lifestyle. The last 3 years we have had the most fun, a lot of travel, and we have just upsized to a house that is a house of our dreams, and almost the pool's ready, but not quite there, but it will get there. So, why am I an expert to speak to you about this particular topic and running bums on seats? So I thought I'd give you a little bit of the specifics as to what I have achieved and what I have completed over the last 5.5 years, so that you guys know that the tips that I share with you come from experience and from making all the mistakes and just telling you things that work. So as you can see here, I have hosted well over 200 webinars, private public events. Probably it's getting more than 60 now, and have spoken to over 100 other events. Actually, I haven't updated this particular slide. I have executed 9 high-end retreats. We're about to go to the 10th one in February. Converted, last year 1 million and this year $1 million collectively in sales from these events. So that needs to be updated as well. And mentored over 100 clients to do the same in their own businesses over the 5.5 years. You guys, many of you are part of my Ultimate Business Support Facebook group. And if you're not, by all means join, because we are getting very close to the 12,000 members on there, which is a community and a tribe, as I like to call, that we've grown over the last 2.5 years since we've launched it, and now have a live event that runs in 4 capital cities of Australia. So Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane launched recently, and Sydney as well. So look out for those events. And can you believe it? I looked at my calendar because I use one of those. By the way, here's the first tip. I use one of those Officeworks whiteboard calendars to plan out my whole year of events. And then I like to tick them off as I've done them. And what I did is actually went back through this year's calendar and calculated how many events have I run or been a part of. And it came up to 72 collectively events, which is a mixture of webinars, seminars, speaking gigs, and retreats. So I'm setting a goal that I'm going to do 100 next year, because I no longer work one-on-one with clients. I work in group settings and pretty much obviously all the events that I'm doing. So what I want to know from you, like you have heard what I have done, but why specifically do you want to run events? Because everyone perhaps has different reasons as to why they want to do it, and I want to know why that is for you. For me, just while you guys are typing, I started running events because I wanted to be able to attract more than that, just one client at a time. So when I started doing them, even from the early days, and having a call to action which was really sort of low end, I built more trust and rapport, but also my client list grew by 5 to 7 people at a time, rather than just one person that you may work really hard to find out and about, versus the leveraged way of doing events. So let me see. Some comments are starting to, lots of comments are starting to come through. There's quite a lot of you on the call, so I'll do my best to get through everything. Maureen's just said she's gotten the planner. She's using it diligently. And Maureen also had a question: how did you know what to write about specifically? Maureen, this is, I guess, reflecting back to the book that I wrote. I didn't know what to write about specifically. I just chose weight loss as a niche, and I talked about everything I loved in human behavior and mindset, and that's what I wrapped the whole book around. So if you actually read that book, it's all around mindset and the background that I had in psychology and coaching and NLP, and I just compiled all my knowledge and of what's worked for me, and I shared that. So you can wrap that around any particular niche that you want. All right, so let's see some of the answers as to why people want to run events. To add value and reach more people from a dare, and then leverage your time. Absolutely leverage your time. It's so awesome, because I walk into my accountant's office every year and I show him triple the results from the previous year, and he keeps saying to me, Nat, people usually cap out at a certain point because they only have so much time to sell. And I said, yeah, but Dave, we're talking about leverage here. So it is about leveraging your time. Thomas has said, be promoting my products and services to more than one person at a time. So selling from the stage. Perfect. Leveraging time and have a greater impact from Fiona. help more people than just through one-on-one. From Mel. Jenny, I want to have a wider reach, get my message to more people and work more effectively. Leverage and more dollars from Adair as well. Build my community, have fun, help people through one-to-many and leverage. Many of you say leverage, leverage, leverage. Same thing from Anna. Also creating a better reputation and rapport. Absolutely. Events are huge. Being face to face with people cannot replace the speed at which you will build rapport, trust, know, like, and intimacy so that people can then take those next steps with you. Obviously, the weakest out of the three is what we're doing right now in terms of a webinar, but the face-to-face power is really second to none in terms of doing seminars and retreats.
A lot of people are jumping in with Blabs and Google Hangouts, things like that these days. Yes. To replace their webinars is almost something a bit more interactive too.
Yes, I was on a Blab the other day, and I wasn't hosting it myself, but funny enough, I just connected, and the host who was interviewing another coach read my profile, and he was all the way from Italy, and he read my little blurb of what I stand for. He said, "Oh, you sound very interesting. I want to interview you." So I picked up an interview just by being a participant on a Blab. So there's many different things that you can do and get exposure for yourself even without leaving the house, as we're doing right now. Karen said to bring people together and share information. Jalinda, want to spread the message more broadly and support more women. Also, rather facilitate groups than one-to-one coaching. Also want to use the events to gain interest for my blogs and book. Fantastic. Being seen as the expert in my field from Maureen. Mel, being seen as the thought leader. So there's very, very similar desires as to why you guys want to, why you want to run events, and the same thing from Davika as well. So there you go. It's a common thread.
It's a common thread. So I love seeing all of those. I guess the question that I have, because I want to see if it's common amongst all of the people that we've spoken to so far, Natasha, guys, put in one word or two words only. What are the reasons why you're not running events so far, or why have you not done them as yet?
Yeah, and that brings me to my next slide in terms of the secrets. So Mel's saying too busy, fear of failure. Yep, okay. What else? Why aren't you running them? I have very poor turnout. Yep.
Not enough bums on the seats.
Yes. Fear no one will come. Yeah, so a lot of fear. And that is actually, someone shared on the UBS page today a little video why people don't achieve success, and it actually never boils down to time or money or all of the other things that we tend to think the reasons are, procrastination, all that. It's actually everything boils down to fear, and the fear of not getting people to turn up. Like, it's almost like, when you're young, I used to have this fear of no one will come to my party. What if no one turns up to my birthday party and things like that? But the secret, basically to running events successfully is to follow a proven formula. And really, the proven formula is there's steps you got to take to get those people in the room, and also there is a different stages of evolution through where you begin and where you get to, and how sophisticated you're able to create this particular, because I believe it's a full-time, no, I don't want to call it a job, but it's full-time effort that you got to put in when it comes to running events. And there is a certain point that you may be working one-on-one with people, but there is a transition point where you can fully transition into events. And pretty much I would say 20% of the time ends up being executing and being present with people at events and speaking and running your own seminars, webinars, and the other 80% of your time is spent on promoting and getting people interested in attending. Jenny's just said developing technology. Yep, cool. Bums from a lot of people. Karen's just saying having difficulty languaging it. Maureen said, ran my first paid gig last night and I'm running my first one-day retreat in January next year and creating momentum.
Excellent.
Cool. Excellent. Yeah, and Jalinda says no admin support, one-person business. Well, Jalinda, Stuart and I have not got a virtual assistant. We're actually only just getting ready to hire someone. I'm actually writing systems over this break, and we have not had a VA ever. And we have run, as you saw, 72 events last year, and pretty much I would say 85% of the promotion was just me, purely me and my Facebook. I did have a Facebook guy, which was, I would say, about 20% of the pool to getting fresh people into the events. So that's a strategy that I wouldn't recommend you try straight away. Facebook advertising should be invested in once you are you have exhausted your warm network and are at a point where you can actually invest. There's a many different things that you can do without actually investing in Facebook ads.
And I love one of the other most common ones that we hear a lot of the time. So it hasn't seen it come up yet so far. People normally say they're too busy to run events because they're too busy with one-on-ones. They say, but how are you ever going to get rid of your one-on-ones unless you start running events to start going one-to-many?
Yeah. And at the beginning, it's okay to have 1, 3, 5 people turn up. And the mindset around that has to be that I'm here and I'm going to deliver value no matter how many people turn up. And the sheer fact that you go through with the event and you show up for that person or those few people that are there shows your commitment. And people appreciate it. They love getting extra attention. So I wouldn't think about it, oh, what is this going to look like? I have done events in front of all of those size groups, and more than I like to think in the first 12 to 18 months of starting to do my events. But certainly there is fast-tracked ways of getting this more fine-tuned so that you get there a lot faster. That's why we're talking here tonight, because I've taken 5.5 years to consistently fill rooms with 30 or 40 people. However, now I know what the things I wouldn't do, and I have so many extra tips and tools that I have tested over the years that work. So you're not meant to see this slide, but there is a blueprint to your online and offline event success. And what basically this slide says, obviously Bums on Seats is in the middle, and to the left and to the right is your webinars, seminars, and retreats, which is different things that you need to do. And I'll talk about the 3 Ps today, because there's a certain order that you have to plan your events in order to make them a success. So you're not meant to see this, but this is basically the depth of how I go into each of these steps. So pretty much each bubble that you see, I would need to spend probably a good half an hour to 45 minutes in explaining and teaching and developing to someone. So we're going to go through part of this, not all of it. Obviously, it's impossible to do that, and for me to deliver 5.5 years of knowledge around how you fill events. But certainly, I'll give you some starting points for you guys to get moving onto your event success. So today we're going to talk about your best lead magnet that you must have to fill your events. We're going to talk about how to magnetize your audience and have them say yes to you more often. And then my 3 Ps. So what are the 3 Ps for event presentation success that are guaranteed to work for you? So before I keep going, there is quite a few other comments. I'm just going to quickly look at what you guys have said, and then we're going to go into each of these 3. So I talk very fast, so if you do miss a lot of what I say, this will be uploaded on YouTube when we finish tonight, because we are recording it. And by the way, there's quite a lot of various topics that I have uploaded there through my time of different things that I have taught people. You're more than welcome to look through over 300-400 videos and gain some resources.
Everyone, there's no more can get on the call now.
That's it. It's full. All right.
I just saw it.
So, all right. So Adair said have first one booked for Feb. It's great to start the year with events, and actually a lot of people are really fresh when they come back into sort of that end of January, February, and they love attending events. I find that those first 2 or 3 weeks of the new year, when I start, all my events sell out. So strongly recommend that you plan an event for either late January, depending on who your target market is. If it's obviously people who would have kids, plan it at the end of January. My first one's on the 27th, or that early February period.
But definitely don't be afraid of promoting over the Christmas holidays, because so many people are off and they're sitting around on Facebook and on social media, and it's actually
making
a great
plans,
time.
Making plans. I start promotion pretty much the day after a Boxing Day. So a lot of people take action. And if for those of you that don't know, Stuart and I run a annual traditional webinar between Christmas and New Year's, usually around the 29th, 30th of December. And we have that packed out with people, and we cannot actually answer all the questions. Actually, people want to know what we did, what goals we achieved, what are we setting for next year. It's a really kind of become a bit of a annual thing that we do with people. It's been going for 4 years. All right, so Fiona said time due to running another business requiring lots of one-on-one. So that was some of her challenges. Also doing co-run one with colleague. Together we make more than 1+1. Excellent, great tip. And that's actually what I used to do in the early days, is team up with one other person, and then our combined effort would get more people into the room. The people that aligned more with her, we work with her. People that aligned more with me, and it doesn't even matter if you're doing this similar thing, because different people match with different people. So I wouldn't even worry about that. But also what that does is the other person ends up being your crew. And what that does, it's an extra person in the room, and they can also prompt and ask questions if your audience doesn't seem to be very interactive. So teaming up in the early days is really, really powerful. You just have to make sure that everyone knows what they're doing and that it's a fair game. So that's what I would say around that. Maureen said, I agree, invest too soon and it's a waste of money. This is around the Facebook ads. Maureen also says, I find word of mouth and tapping into other people's networks has helped me. Great. Keeping retreats at an affordable price, so more take up.
No, make it more expensive.
Make it more expensive.
People are more desperate to go if you make it more expensive.
Not just necessarily that. I don't think it's got to do with price. If I can actually talk about price a little bit when it comes to events, like where do you price things? It's actually about how are you going to talk about the value. If you've been able to deliver the value that your program or seminar, retreat or webinar, whatever it's going to bring to people, the price should not be an issue. That is where actually when people say no on price, it's usually the communication has not been, the value has not been understood by the person considering to take up the program, or the person who's communicating has not been able to communicate it as clearly. So that's what I have learned over my time, and through what my mentors have told me. It's obviously maybe I haven't explained the value well enough, or the other person actually has a lot of fear around taking the leap to do that. So I actually don't think being successful at seminars, to tell you the truth, I actually find it a lot easier to sell my retreats now than I did in the early days. So I think it's more about building the confidence around having a few yeses, and then having people, that's proof in the pudding. Show them that you've been successful at running some, that you've had help people with the results. And once the results are on the board, people will go, well, if I'm going to get a result, this is worth investing in. So long as it's well structured and explained. We've got all night, Thomas says. Yes, we do have all night, but we also want to watch another Christmas movie. I love watching Christmas movies. Mel says, love your oops. Wasn't meant to share this slide. Great tactic. Maureen says, what are your thoughts about promoting and selling via Eventbrite? Yes, I believe posting your event into as many platforms as possible is a smart thing. You can never have it posted into enough places. I always say 10 fills a room, and if any of you can guess what that means, so have a go. I'll talk through some other stuff, and at the end I will say who got it right. 10 fills a room. So put that down somewhere and we'll come back to it. Yes, and also planning to do women's retreat with another female colleague who has different skills, personality to mine. That's great, Jalinda. Yeah, perfect. All right, I've got through all the comments. Let's go. Best lead magnet you must have to fill your events. Yay, of course it's a book. What else am I going to tell you? Of course, a book is the best lead magnet. Why is it the best lead magnet? Because your book can be is available as a paperback, which actually gets your foot in the door into many places to get opportunities to speak. Guess what happens at speaking events? You should be inviting people to attend an introductory event of yours. So you don't sell your high-end programs, you don't sell your retreats. You invite people to come along to the next step. So the next step, so say it's a free speaking gig that you're doing, your next step should be a $50, maximum $200, $250 type of program of high value so that people come along to it. What I also do when I do the speaking event, I go, when you sign up with me, you get to take home my book. And people love that. Secondly, this is the offline way. The online way is you give away a free copy of the ebook version of your book. So on Facebook, when we do run advertising, of course we do, the last 12 months we have, and our business is at that level to have a Facebook person and to also run ads, but it's not the one. I only rely on that strategy for 20% of my room. Okay. What it does though, it gets 65% conversion. Each ad where I advertise my book as an ebook collects 65 people's details out of every 100. That is huge. In case you don't know what the conversion rates are, 30% you're doing amazing, 15% is average, 65 is out of this world. So what happens is when those people come to a landing page to get my ebook, the second page that pops up once they have opted in is saying, hey, Natasha's doing this event. Would you like to go along and meet her? And then they get sold into the event, which is a $49 event where they actually receive the copy of the book when they come to the seminar. Now, usually, let's say, obviously there'll be a drop-off rate. Not every single person is going to go, oh, yeah, I'm going to come to the event. But they end up on my database. By ending up on my database, they end up being nurtured and communicated with. So if they didn't come to the first event, they will quite possibly come to the second or third, or ultimately they might unsubscribe. But the thing is, I haven't lost the person, and that person now starts being warmed up, if you like. So that is why a book is the best lead magnet. It's your business card on steroids, guys. Of course, I'm going to tell you to value that because I've written so many of them, and I will keep writing them because they just totally back and complement what I do and what I deliver. And all my content of what I talk about is in the book. Like what we're doing right now, it's going to be part of the Bums on Seats book. Would you agree? I think so. Jenny says, I run over 65 face-to-face seminars this year. Awesome. I know you, Jenny. Jenny's from New Zealand, guys. My next challenge is to add online courses and webinars. Great. What new knowledge is needed to make this transition? Absolutely. And you said before about technology. And by the way, Jenny, because you are one of my awesome authors, you do have how to run webinars for profit, bonus footage, available to you in that secret area that I share with you guys. So I suggest having a bit of a watch of that. Grace says, haha, put my name down for a copy of Bums and Seats, please. Oh, yay! Grace, can I officially say you're our first pre-sale, because I haven't even announced the pre-sales yet, but you can be the first one. I'll sign it for you. You're always kind of the first one. I love that. All right, guys, let's keep going. Number 2, how to magnetize your audience and get them to say yes a lot more often to you. All right, so we go into pain and pleasure world, okay? So we say that people would, I don't need to speak to the converted, but you guys know that people will do a lot more to avoid pain than to experience pleasure. Now, there's a couple of different things to consider here. Is when you're doing front-end events, so say, for example, tonight is a free webinar, so it's a front-end marketing. Now, actually, I tend not to do as many pain-focused events. So, for example, 3 mistakes you shouldn't make, or what's another one, Stuart? I'm not really pain-wired in my...
The scary truths, why small businesses fail.
Yep, scary truths, all of that kind of stuff works really well at the front end. Because if people are struggling and they have the pain, they kind of go, oh, I need to know what I need to avoid so that I'm not in pain. And then your back-end marketing, which is obviously your high-end programs and things that people really invest a lot to work with you, they need to be pleasure-focused. Now, please, please, please be specific with your events. Now, if any of you have already planned out webinars, seminars, or retreats and you want to share some titles and names of those particular events, please post them up and I can give you feedback. It's better to catch it now, unlike me with my first business name, who I didn't learn first what I had to do, so therefore I just registered a name without getting any feedback. It stood for nothing. So Anna's just posted up preparing for birth. So Anna, can we just make it a little bit sexier? So it's very specific, which is perfect, and it says exactly what it is. But maybe 12 easy steps on how to prepare, or not 12. 12 is probably a bit long, but 3 easy steps on how to prepare for an easy birth, or a smooth birth, or an enjoyable, or something that makes it look and seem greater, and I don't know, it just makes it bigger than what it is. Like preparing for birth just sounds, what would you say, Stuart? Like
it's just dry.
Dry,
So it's
yeah.
not, because guys, what you're going to see, especially if you're going to be promoting it in an online space where most people are going to be doing, if you've just got a very vanilla or a very base title, no one is ever going to stop. When you're doing any marketing and copywriting and preparing these events, which is a lot of what I do within our business, you must go with the mindset is you've got to make someone stop scrolling. Just think about when you're sitting with your iPhone or your Samsung or whatever it might be. You've got to stop people from scrolling. So to go, oh, what is this event? What is this webinar that I might turn up to? So you can either go something which is a dramatic interrupt. So something which is going to make someone stop because it's either controversial, we don't want to overuse the term shocking truths and things like that, or it's got to be something just so specific. So if you're a dating coach, it might be, and look, you can be controversial. The 3 reasons why you're not getting laid. Okay, it really can be something like that.
Yeah.
If that's, again, the type of person and you're attracting that type of audience. So they're more interested in something like that than all of the real things that we know they need, which is that they don't have a good relationship with themselves, they can't connect, all of that. So you've got to make sure that the copy that you're putting out there is going to sell it, and sell it to make it very, very appealing.
And if we can just look at the topic, or what I've chosen for my next book title being Bums on Seats, it's a very commonly used phrase for people who run events. I can't get bums on seats. It's so hard to get bums on seats. You've got to hustle. That's what people use. So when you hear that, it's like your common language that you're using. So what common language are people using? And Anna just posted some of her copies in questions. She's got, is childbirth scary? Worried you won't know how to cope? Want to know all your options, need some support, are you feeling alone? So those are good. Those are really good and short, sharp questions for your copy, Anna. And part of what I teach is how to write. Well, Stuart teaches it more nowadays than I do, in terms of how to write powerful copy for your events. Because your step number 1, you guys, after selecting a date, is actually writing your sexy copy, as I talk about it. So there you go. Thomas has just said orgasm because of giving birth, and I think Anna often talks about it can be an orgasmic experience. But I don't know if people actually see it as that, because they're actually quite petrified of if they're first time mums. She likes something we've said, and she goes, oh yeah.
Would have been your name suggestion for the event.
Yeah. Okay. Jelinda has some names here. Elevate Her, Step Up, Stand Out, Speak Up. It's a self-leadership development program for women. When you're saying elevate her, step up, stand up, speak up, that can sound quite broad. So the word leadership in some place would need to go within this particular title, I feel. What do you think, Stuart?
Not necessarily. I think even if these people know that they want to step up, stand out, speak up, then something along that line would be the first thing I would start with, rather than elevate her. That could then be something within it. Again, this is without being able to switch the brain. Men's brains works a bit different, so I need to go from educational mode into creative mode. Yeah. But yeah, something along that, just looking at it. I don't think you need, because leadership's just done to death. I don't think these women know that they need leadership.
Okay, let's just then talk about the point that I've talked for many years, and my little line that I always use in marketing is that you got to sell them what they want in order to give them what they need. Okay, so Jelena, I would ask the question: is this the stuff they want? Do they want to elevate, step up, stand out, or speak up, or do they need to? Because if they need to, that's actually your content. What is it that they want? And usually the want is tied around a thing that's keeping them awake at night. For example, bums on seats keeps everyone awake at night. Oh my God, will I have enough people in the room? I'd like to get to at least this many people, right? Or when it's for my book writing stuff, it's like people take, oh, it takes so long to write a book. I could never do that. It just seems so hard. So how can you turn your solution into the magic bullet so that you do attract your people, so that you can actually then teach them to step up, stand out, and speak up? Because my sense and my gut says that that's more of the need than the want. Okay. Social media for small business owners to Adair. From Adair, I'm guessing that's what you're going to teach. Make it more of a system. What is it? And even maybe around a particular platform that you might teach them around. So get a little bit even more specific and measurable within your title. Sonia says, my event title, Break Free, How to Bust Through Your Business Glass Ceiling. Okay, I'm thinking, is this something to do around money? So could you bring in, if it's a business glass ceiling, I'm guessing they're earning X amount of money and they just can't break through that. So could you, how to go double beyond you double your business turnover or something, within the next 90 days? How can you turn it a little bit more measurable and again talk about that sort of pain point? But it's I like it. To Vanilla, laugh out loud from Adair. I think that was about your title. Make something painful more appealing. Yes, Fiona, need to rethink it then from Adair. Yep. Island mindfulness retreat to be run on Bribey Island with 2 other presenters who are doing meditation and yoga and mandalas. I am doing vision boards. Okay. So some people may say that this might sound fluffy, but then again, if you're trying to appeal to people who already have awareness, Maureen, at some level, then this kind of a title will appeal to them. So there's 2 types of people. There's those people who completely have never worked on themselves, which this kind of stuff might be really off-putting to them. And then there's those people who have worked on themselves and they are looking for more of this kind of stuff. So the second type of people are more the people that would be attracted in what you're saying.
Yeah, great.
All right, 3 steps to nail. Love your interactions, guys. This is really, really good, and I hope you're finding it helpful with the examples, because I think we learn best through examples and experience. All right, Tina, 3 steps to nailing your New Year's resolutions.
I like it, but we've done this before. The 3 reasons why your New Year's resolutions fail.
Oh, that's a good one.
Really
go with
well.
the pain. Go with the pain on this one. I agree, because sometimes
because everybody knows their business, their New Year's resolutions fail. So if you tell them what their 3 reasons are, you will have a big turn up.
Yeah. Thanks, Stewie from Mel.
That'll be better. Yes. Got it, Mel. I know what that's about.
Okay, we're better than the title I had. Cool. Anna says, haha, it might scare some away. This is about the orgasm, I think. Nicole says, running a goal setting workshop in the new year, thinking of going with lifestyle design, 7 simple steps to know what you want and make it your reality, your thoughts. A little bit lengthy and wordy. How can you maybe tighten it up? And go with that. Again, I think that this will appeal to those people who already love creating their vision.
I love words around this, like future design, future something. I think people can relate to that. You can certainly have a tagline or something along those lines. But just future design, ideal future, perfect, whatever, something like that. I think works well in that space.
And Tina says, perfect, thanks. And last of all, Mel said 3 insider secrets to what really women really want, which is really cool. Meditation classes, transformation, meditation. Again, more for people who've done some work on themselves. Reignite your relationship with no blame or shame. What do you think of this one? Which relationship though? I'm just kind of wondering, because we have relationships with many different, like with a partner, with children, with friends.
That'll be with partner, I'd say.
I'm guessing, yeah. Very bad turnout too from Hannah. 3 reasons why you could be feeling lonely in your relationships. Do people know that they're lonely? That's what I'm just asking. Are your Devika, just think of yourself. I spoke to you yesterday at lunch. Think about yourself. Were you feeling lonely? And if that's talking to the past version of you, then I would go with it. So you need to also, guys, you need to also start listening to your intuition and your gut. And a lot of you, because you come from, say, a personal development field, I want to give you an insight. Okay, the people that you're actually trying to attract are generally a past version of yourself. Not for everyone, but what I have found in having mentored thousands of coaches now, because through many different shapes and forms of webinars and seminars and retreats and all that sort of stuff, generally 80%, let's go with the 80-20 rule, 80% are wanting to help the person who they used to be. Okay? So who were you 4 or 5 years ago, and what was your top of mind problem? Same as me. My top of mind problem when I started out was, how do I get more people in the room? How embarrassing, no one's going to turn up. And those were all the issues, and this is why I have built this whole program and this mastermind that I'll be running next year, is because I have solved everything that and I still obviously want to keep delving deeper into this, because I know that I can get even better from where I am now. So the things that I have solved in everything that I've done, I keep building programs and solutions to the past version of me, because I know there's people out there who need what I needed back then. So I create those kind of things, and I keep listening to my audience, and they go to me, well, how do you run these seminars and how do you run these retreats? And I go, oh, well, they obviously want some help around that, and therefore there's a system and I guess a blueprint, as I say, that I have reverse engineered to work out what is it that I do that works so well nowadays that didn't in the beginning, and how is it that I can communicate and teach it and train it to people. All right. Thanks a lot, guys, from Nicole. All right. Yes. Neglected, unloved from Devika. So use those kind of words, Devika, especially in your copy, in your sexy copy. All right, guys, we have to keep going. Someone said, yes, that's true, Nat. And Maureen said, that's scary. The person I was 5 years ago, I don't want to be around, negative, draining, and too invested in her stories. So, but generally, guys, one thing that you got to remember, let me just delete some of these so I know what's popping up. You got to remember, don't sell to the person that has already solved their problem. Like, you need to be selling to the person who needs your help. Because a lot of people go, these are the types of clients I want, but the types of clients that they want have already solve that particular problem. So actually, there's two types of clients: is the ones that they haven't worked with you and they haven't received your help, and then there's the ones that have already worked with you. So there's two versions of them. Your copy needs to be the person who needs your help. Okay, and sometimes people get it completely wrong. They're actually talking to a person that already is has been helped. All right, number 3. The 3 P's for event presentation success that are guaranteed to work. All right, so this is where I'm going to challenge a few of you. Those of you that have been around me, you've heard me say this before, but some of you that haven't, perhaps you will be challenged about this. You never create anything by picking your date and writing your sexy copy around your event. So picking your title for the event and writing your questions that are going to prompt the thoughts, stop people.
Or if it's a live event, you need to have your venue.
That's right, of the date and the venue, correct, yeah. So you pick your date. So for example, today's event, all I knew was that I wanted to run it today about 7 days ago, because we had an influx of over 30 emails when we announced our Bums on Seats Mastermind, and I thought, why not share some of this awesome information and give people an introduction of what all of this is going to be about. Obviously, we're skimming the surface, total helicopter view over all of these topics. However, very key things of what to do and what not to do. So schedule your date. If it's a live, obviously, venue, you got to pick your venue as well. But sometimes you don't even have to shoot. You can actually put TBA, to be announced, okay? So people do like to know where they're going. So if you can pick the venue, then certainly do that and have it as part of the information, and then write your copy. You don't need to do anything else. The rest of the stuff is all marketing. Okay, the rest of you don't prepare. So the 3 P's are in this order: promote, prepare, and then profit. Okay, so promote, prepare, profit. It is 80% of what you do will go around your promotional efforts. It's in the 20% that you will be doing the preparation, packing, going to the event, executing, and obviously having your call to action. So please, please, please don't prepare anything. Even in executing retreats, do not prepare any of your content, any of your information. My ultimate 48-hour author retreat did not have one system behind it, bar a table that explained to people what they were going to get, what it was going to look like. I could describe it. I could paint the picture. I can tell them what the investment is, how they could pay me, and that was it. That's all I had. And I said, this is the date I've picked for my first retreat. This is what it's going to look like. This is what the investment is. And until the first person bought it and committed to it, I did not start working on anything. Because the biggest cure to procrastination is when you make that commitment to someone else. Okay, make the commitment to someone else, and that's when you won't procrastinate in bringing out all the information. And certainly it's proven to be the right order of steps to take every single time. So even in preparing this year, a lot of you guys have my Ultimate 2016 Success Planner. I did not start creating or doing anything with it until I pre-sold the first few copies. And as Grace has said tonight, she wants the first copy of Bums and Seats book, which means that once she places that order, I have got this thing that I cannot let her down. I cannot let anyone down once I have sold the thing that I have pre-purchased. So always, always, always promote before you prepare.
And one of the things you can absolutely tell if you are procrastinating about, and you do have the fear about it, I've had people that have prepared 10 different PowerPoints for an event that they're going to be running.
What a waste
So they're doing the PowerPoints thinking, I'll get that right, and then I'll advertise it. No one's going to see your PowerPoint until the end.
Exactly.
Sure, if it's your first event, maybe at least it'll enable a couple of days to do it.
Of course.
But you're not going to be like, now we can put PowerPoints together in 10 minutes if we really need to.
Yes.
So your first one, we always say, obviously need a little bit longer, but if you're doing PowerPoints and you haven't even picked your date and you're not promoting it yet, that's a sure sign that you're procrastinating and you don't really want to do them.
Yeah. So let's read a couple of comments and then I'll keep going. Yay, Maureen says, that's what I'm doing. Must have remembered something you told me in another webinar. Excellent. And that's it's so true. That's how I got both my courses done this year. Yep. Right. And thank you for your advice. And I wrote my PowerPoint in 10 minutes on the day of the event. Of course you did. On the right track. Excellent. And makes great sense from Davika. Awesome, guys. So Stuart and I are very, very happy to stick around after this. You know, we don't have to rush off. All our kids are tucked in bed and asleep. So, but what I do want to do is be respectful of everyone's time. So to make sure that that those of you that need to go by 9 o'clock can go. So I want to tell you about the online and offline event success blueprint that I will be bringing out in 2016, which some of you may have seen us announce through our email. We only sent out one email. We pretty much have 2 months to make this happen, which we have no doubt it's going to be filled in a flash. So Bums and Seats Mastermind 2016 is this. Okay, we have 2 versions of this program. We're going to do a live streaming version for those people that are not Melbourne based, and we're going to do a very intimate in our home 12 full days over 100 hours of training version that people are going to be and spend 8 hours once a month with us, with all meals provided, with all of these various I've put down suggested topics we're going to go through, but pretty much what we are going to do is we are going to deliver content and the strategies and the templates and all of the resources that we have to date in the first half of the day. So 9 to 1 will be content focused, and those people who are from interstate, they will act in a way as fly on the wall, if you like, in the room. so that they don't miss out on the valuable information and the resources that are being shared. The people obviously live in the room in Melbourne are going to get the most obviously nurturing and hand holding. And the reason we're doing it over 12 months is because people get all excited. By the way, I can deliver this information in 3 days. Okay, I can deliver it as a training, and people will get excited. They're going to leave and do some stuff for 2 or 3 weeks, and then life's going to get in the way, and they're going to put their events running on the back burner again. So what I wanted to do for those 10 people, and certainly the others that are live interstate are going to get accountability through online forum, like we'll have a secret Facebook group and all that sort of stuff happening. But we want people to go out, do an event, come back, tell us what they did, what worked, what didn't work, get the support from the group, to get, as Francesca calls it, the sheep effect happening, so more people are attracted to their events, and then go out, do it again, come back, and be masterminded. So every person in the afternoon, we would scatter obviously in our home, and we would do 20 minutes per person of the 10 people, and plus me and Stuart, that's 12 heads together, brainstorming new clever ways of getting more bums on seats. So we're doing this because of 2 reasons. One is because we want to help and work with 10 people intimately, and we love using our home for training. I think it's very, very family focused. That's the feeling we want our clients to have when they're working with us. They feel like they're part of our family and our life. And secondly is because I also know that I will learn many different tips and strategies along the way from the people that are attending. And I can't wait to help the ones that I have already. We've already actually have 4 people committed into this program. So the dates that you can see, they're always run on a Thursday, and they start 28th of January, finish 1st of December. So some you will notice that there's one lot that are 6 weeks apart and one that are 2 weeks. That's because of our travels. So we've fitted everything in. So there's at least there is one every single month. So that's what it is. I'll handle the questions that are coming up in a second. I'll just finish up explaining what it looks like and what people get. Interstate live streaming is priced before the end of this year at $1,497, so $1,500 if you want to round it off. In the new year, it'll be $2,000, so $1,997. There is 3 mega bonuses for both the options. So the live mastermind will require a 15-minute qualifying interview with myself or Stuart. And what I'm going to do while I'm talking through this is actually put the link of where you can book a time either tonight, tomorrow morning, or Monday morning to have a conversation with myself or Stuart to see if you would qualify, because we don't want just anyone coming to our house. We want to make sure, and also obviously I want people who are going to get the most out of this and that they're going to contribute and going to be committed to this. It is a 12-month commitment, so we want people, a group, to have the stability, the consistency, and to build those strong relationships as a mastermind group would. 3 mega bonuses for both options. You get 12 additional monthly webinars, which we run through our inner circle, that will complement the skills you will be learning, and open Q&A and interactions with all of our other paying clients. So getting lots of support from people who've already worked with us, but also we run them different times. I run it, sometimes Stuart, sometimes we get an expert along, and it's all on that marketing your business. Then you get a free ticket to our 2-day additional training. This is a face-to-face training in Melbourne that's going to run in March, July, and October. It's the Ultimate Brand Accelerator Masterclass. So this is completely different information to Bums on Seats. So it's all about accelerating your brand. And then you get the filmed footage actually that I spoke to Jenny about earlier on how to run webinars for profit, social media made easy, and how to develop products for profit. So that is something you can immerse yourself in the next 2 months while you're waiting for the program to start and get a jump start for yourself. So those are bonuses worth $7,500, okay, more than the live mastermind. So we would discuss in that 15 minutes what, if you're a fit, what the outcomes are, and the logistics of how all of this is going to run. And basically, the program at the moment is $6,997. There is payment plans, there is upfront discounts, and there's also it's going to be $8,000 in the new year. So that's before this year has expired. That's what we're doing, those 2 specials. And there's, as I said, 6 spots available. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the questions box. And if you do have questions and you want some more, if you want to pick our brain further on this, let's have a discussion. We've got 5 minutes, but for those of you that want to stay and have more questions, by all means, please post them up, and we'll be happy to answer them. So Mel says, I delivered my second talk with no prep. I was panicking on the morning, spent an hour on it right before it, and then it went out the window with the first question, and I ended up talking from my heart anyway. What you get to do after a while, I used to practice quite a lot, Mel, and after a while, you just deliver the content so many times, and you have so many different distinctions. And from going into your head quite a lot in the early days, you tend to move to that heart space. And the best way to do that is, yes, when people are getting into when they're being interactive with you, it's really a wonderful way to then start adding value in a more non-controlled environment. Bless you, Stuart. She goes, I know it. Believe it, it was freaking awesome. It is really awesome when it gets to that point when you can just turn up and just be yourself. There's a question from Jalinda. When you're promoting the event, I'm assuming you are testing the market. Nothing lost if you haven't spent lots of time preparing yet. Gives you time to tweak if it's not enough take up on the first model.
Yeah, Jalinda, I'll give you a bit of a story around that. So I was working with someone middle of this year, and so they planned their first event, and they actually came to me after they'd run their first, or attempted to run their first event, with the copy that they'd done, the title that they'd done. They had promoted it reasonably well. They'd done it about promoted it all online and everything like that. Yet they ended up cancelling the event because they didn't get anyone there at all. So the exact same thing that they were going to deliver, I just rewrote it for them in a different way. All of a sudden, got them to get people to start interacting and taking notice about it. Mm-hmm. And so we just tested it. So rather than, and they had gone and prepared it all, but it wasn't ended up wasting because the stuff that they had prepared, we used it, but we just framed it another way. So it was as simple as doing that. We switched it from a positive to a negative, and that made take up, we had 10, 20 times as much take up that way around.
Yeah, wonderful. Awesome. Let me see. I've heard it's a good idea to have a title speech that you can deliver over and over. What are your thoughts? Oh, absolutely. I mean, all year I delivered the Ultimate 48-Hour Author Blueprint for Business Success. That's my half-day event title speech, if you like, or workshop title. So when you find a good one, this is where you test and measure all your different titles that you're going to do. And when you find really good ones, you can keep reusing them, because rinse, wash, repeat. That's what happens. Sonia says, I feel it is super easy to deliver the events, but any tips for promotion? Oh, so let's go back to what I said earlier. I said 10 fills a room, and no one actually said to me, guessed what I meant by 10 fills a room. And you're welcome, Jalinda, by the way. Well, 10 fills a room. So if you put your event in a little bubble, if you've got a piece of paper, put your event in a little bubble in the middle, okay? And from it, you need to put like 10 different prongs.
Make it look like the sun.
Make it look like the sun, that's right, with 10 different sun rays. And what you will need to list out is what are the 10 different ways you're going to promote your event. So obviously posting it up on Facebook is one strategy. Going out networking with a flyer about your event is another strategy. If you're going to do advertising, of course, that's another strategy. Your database, are you going to send a series of emails to your database to let your people know? Are you going to talk to previous attendees from past events and get them to recommend someone to come along if they enjoyed the event? So there are many. I've most likely, off the top of my head, I probably do about 10 to 15 different things to get one event filled. Now that sounds like a lot of work, but that's, I use the word in filling events, you got to hustle. You have to hustle to get those people in the room. So what are the 10 different things? So you need to list out. I already gave you 4 or 5 different things. LinkedIn is another option. Please don't bug your LinkedIn contacts any more than once every 2.5 months.
No, just write. Another way of doing it is
Yeah.
just write an article from LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
then just have that then
Yep.
get shown through to all of your connections.
Yep.
So it's a value add article, but it's
Yeah.
making people, it's seeding them to value what you're going to deliver,
Yeah.
and then just have a nice subtle link down the bottom.
Yeah.
That works really well, and I've started to use that for
Yep.
you. You probably don't realise.
Yeah, I did. I did realise.
Started utilising that for you, and that's starting to
Yep.
go really well.
Yeah.
Obviously on a Facebook page, work out the groups that you're in.
Yeah.
Don't underestimate that. If join 2 or 3 Facebook groups such as Ultimate Business Support, and a couple of others. Look when you can promote on there, but always do it as an adding value and say to people who the event is for. So you're not just saying, hey, come to my event if you're not working out.
I like putting attention and then your target market. So
Yep.
if it's coaches, speakers, mompreneurs, put that in there, but also add value and then promote so that when people actually see it, they're not just like,
seeing that as a one-off, and that you're hitting and running. You're actually doing it for a
not
purpose,
a hit and run. Yeah.
Very, very effective.
Yep.
I'm just really curious. I know you've already done a lot of typing and interacting. Everyone, it's awesome. I'd love if you could just tell me where you saw this event and where you registered from, because that is really great for us to know. So was it through an email or was it on social media? Just as simple as that. I'd love it if you could just quickly answer that for me. Would be super.
Yeah. So just Sonia, while they're doing that, there's a lot of other comments. I will get through these, guys. We're not in a rush to go. But Sonia said, well, if Facebook advertising isn't the best, what is? So as I said, 10 different things. Like speaking gigs is another way to get your events filled. Getting a free speaking gig and then speaking in front of people and then getting them to that next step. Other people. So, for example, a webinar, you can get people into a live room from a webinar and fill your event. You can do webinar swaps with people who have their data as the same target market but not in competition with you. You can do that. Or vice versa, if you worked out some kind of a win-win with someone who has got a bigger list, you can promote your event to their list. So, look, I think we just named pretty much 8 or 9 different things, and I'm just doing them off the top of my head. In my blueprint, I've got like the 20 different ways of what you can do and how to also entice people and what are the special little ways to get extra people into rooms. Like, because there's already what I used to do, and I still continue to do, about 10 days from my event, I offer 2 or 3 people of those who have paid per ticket to bring along someone for free as a buddy. And funny enough is the buddies that have actually purchased my programs, which is someone who has never even considered coming to my event up until their friends had come along to it. All right, let's have a look. There's lots of comments here. Where it says, I'm considering running webinars to funnel people into a half-day workshop. What kind of conversion rate is common on a webinar for an event?
Do they know you at all, Wes, or are they totally cold? If they know you at all, look, if they're geographically, they've got to be in your area. That's the number one thing. So
I'd say 10% you're doing well.
Yeah.
10% you're doing well, and 5% I would be expecting. It's not super high. That's been my experience anyway.
Because it's hard to geographically target people to come to a webinar. Unless you've got something that people will travel every way for. That if it's just a half day, probably going to be hard to get people in.
Yeah. Mel's just saying, if your followers come to your next events, do they get bored with the same talk? No, they don't, because they pick up all sorts of different stuff. I often invite the same people, especially when I go into state, I invite them to my events because I grow. So from 6 months ago, them having seen me deliver that event to 6 months later, it's totally different. Like, yes, some of the underlying stories might be the same, but the distinctions that I share are different and they hear different things. So people I've had some people attend my same workshop 3 times, up to 3 times so far. Maureen said email database founded on Facebook from Mel. Coffee chat from Adair. More emails. Coffee on Monday. There you go. So that is pretty much, I'm on your list from Kath. Thanks, amazing woman. Great information. Thank you. 50-50.
Okay, so 50 will know you. Yep, all right.
Yeah, radio. Radio? Davika, what do you mean radio? I haven't been on the radio. You're funny. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I trust what we've shared tonight has at least given you a couple of insights. I always say walking away from a webinar or something that you've invested in an hour to be a part of, you need to take at least 2 actions as a result.
I'm going to give them one before you finish
go
up.
for
All
it.
right. So pick your date and then work. So pick your date and set an outcome. So it's the 5th of February. You want to have, it's going to be a half-day event and you're going to target 20 people. That's going to be what you want to get there. Work out how can you get 20 people in that room? What strategies do you need to do? How many people do you need to meet or talk to get them to that event? And then plan your events backwards from there. So if you're running a half day, you might want to have 2 webinars leading up on different topics that are however related, and you're seeding them to value what you want them to get into. Yeah? Okay? So always set the date and then set your intention and then work backwards and think, how can I reach however many people? If your conversion rate into an event is 10% and you want 20 people there, that means you need to connect with 200 people, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
How can you do that? And then set some plans how you can actually talk to that many people. That's my quick little idea for you.
Very good, very good. Thank you. I'm so in action, and there says pinging all over the shop with some ideas. And Karen just said, thanks, Natasha. Always leave with lots of gold from your talks and webinars. My absolute pleasure. So go forth and do what Stuart said. Look forward to chatting quite a few of you who have booked in your qualifying interview for the live mastermind. Email us if you are interested in the live streaming. At the same dates apply. Most likely you just need to make yourself available that 9 to 1 on those particular dates that we listed out here. I will email out this PowerPoint presentation and a link to listen to the recording. Otherwise, the recording
I just want to answer that one. If there's just someone asked, what if you miss one date because you're away? If you do miss the date, obviously it's going to all be recorded.
Yeah.
So you'll straight away, you'll be able to just catch up with that when you get back. You'll just miss out on the afternoon of the actual delivery.
I say if you can make 9 out of 12, it's worthwhile, because the rest you can watch the recording. Everything will be filmed and recorded. And I say it's not about perfection. We're going away on holidays as well. Of course, we're available on these dates, but we don't expect that all 10 people will be always there. We want them to. But 9 out of 12, you know what they say, 80% of something is better than 100% of nothing. And everything's filmed anyway, so people wouldn't miss out on the nurturing and the support. All right, gorgeous people, have an amazing night and a weekend, and look forward to chatting to some of you. Oh, my quote, hang on, my quote for finishing. It's not about perfect, it's about effort, okay? And when you implement that effort into your life every single day, that's where transformation happens. That's how change occurs. Keep going. Remember why you started. Have a great night. Bye all.